be severed!
You did a good job holding out until I got here. Leave the rest to me.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Architect React, and in this video we're going to be looking at the exciting world of Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer centered around a main character, Tanjiro, and his sister Nezuko. So his family is completely slaughtered by demon, and his sister turns into a demon. So the main plot centers around Tanjiro trying to get his sister to go back to being a human being. Along the way, he joins the Slayer Corps with the same endeavor to pursue the demons that have done wrong to him and his family. And what we find is this captivating story of friendship, justice, and a new and claimed emotional depth and a visual excellence. So one of the things that I was looking at was, what is the relationship between architecture and anime in the first place? As you can see, architecture by nature, we are conveying visual information. A lot of our clients like to see the building. They cannot completely grasp the drawings that we are drawing for them. So as time has progressed and we have gotten more and more powerful computers, the expectations has been giving me a more realistic rendering. I want to see texture, color, material palettes. And along this way, what we have found is the client already knows what the building looks like before the building's being built. We have stranded away from the aspect of graphic that conveyed form, that conveyed what the space is going to feel like. Rather, we're going towards realism. And one of the biggest factors that animators had when they were doing this anime was, we're gonna introduce a computer-like elements. We're gonna start doing CGI. And they were very afraid that we will not be able to connect with the character at the same emotional level as we would have in the past when animation was completely sketch-based. So one of the things that you will realize is the animation style in Demon Slayer centers around color reduction. It centers around a very minimal use of a color palette. Maybe about 20-25 colors max used throughout each episode. And each one of these color palette has a theme. Each one of the blues stands out. All of the water, or if you were to look at lightning breathing variations or the attacks themselves, they are centered around high contrast and hue. Another thing to consider is we're visualizing imagery in these animes that we're not able to visualize anywhere else. Things that we're able to visualize, such as the attacks that Tanjiro does, they're part of martial arts. Just like architects, we create images out of flow of circulation, flow of air, noise pollution. So we're visualizing something that doesn't exist, something else that we have in common, and it attracts our attention. There's a deliberate attention to what is background and what is foreground. So as we start analyzing this, the way we draw attentions, the way we draw emphasis, the clear-cut understanding of the animators deliberately activating color theory along the project is making us understand that they understand visual aesthetics, right? And what we can learn from them. So one of the things that I understood was that if the background is completely animated, there's also use of Gaussian blur. If we were to talk specifically about techniques, we're looking at use of index colors when it comes to Photoshop. We're looking at use of color reduction techniques when it comes to how minimal you can get the colors to be, and that makes your rendering faster. So what is the point of being able to render and create images faster? If you were to look at works of Louis Tuscomari Lewis, or LTL for short, a lot of his architecture has a graphic style that is a blend of both computer and hand drawing. And he's able to convey ideas much better to the client when it comes to executing form, when it comes to understanding what color palette is going to be like when it comes to realized architecture. So visually, the representation of this anime aligns with what is going on within the field of architecture. Rather than spending 16, 18 hours actualizing a rendering to its max perfection, spending several hours where the computer is completely isolated and rendering these high global illumination, high level of rendering factors. Rather, just scale back, understand form, live your life in a way where you are able to explore spaces. Do not create an image that you already know what it's like to be in that space. Create spaces that you will eventually inhabit, and you can actually now visualize it when you're actually there. So one of the key components is exploring this anime. You will learn to explore color. For example, if you were to look at water breathing, you will understand that there's only use of 3 colors during almost any attack. If you were to look at any character's hair, comprises of 2 or 3 colors max, but it still draws a very sharp contrast. It still draws a very vibrant aesthetic. And that aesthetic can be copied, and you can use that as a visual representation when it comes to executing architectural projects in jury. And this style allows you to do it very quickly. You're able to convey ideas quickly. So with that said, those are the things that you should look out for when you're watching these animes. How can you visually bring those aesthetics in and execute them in projects? Until next time.
Follow for more content.